Hey, what's up everybody? It's Larry the Batman fan here, and I'm back with another video in the same, well, not the same day, the next day. I'm going to be doing a top 15 NES games. I am also going to be listing some honorable mentions, because I know there is more than 15 good games on the NES. Don't worry, I will get to the Nintendo Wii top. I might do a top 20 for the Nintendo Wii, since there's so many people that say the Nintendo Wii is terrible and that there's a lot of crappy games on the system. But despite there being a lot of crappy games, there's still some good games. I mean, it's the same thing with the NES. There's a lot of crappy games on the NES as well. But I'm still able to dig out and find some good games to mention. So, you take the good with the bad, basically. Oh, and also Anthony Chobot does pop culture. I'm still calling you out here, man. Where is the top 15 videos? You gotta do 2 more, man. You've been tagged. I want to see 2 more. I mean, it's nice that you're doing movie reviews and stuff, but come on, man. Let's see the top 15 videos, man. I want to see them. I haven't seen them there, man. What's going on? Anyways, let me get into the top 15 games here. I have these games all by me. I know I showed off my NES collection probably about 2 months ago, or maybe 3 months ago by now, and I went over over 60 games that I have in my collection. But these are the top 15 for me. So number 1 is Super Mario Bros. 3. You take the original Super Mario Bros. And the second Mario Bros. Game, which was Doki Doki Panic here in America. We didn't get the real version. We got screwed out of the real version of Super Mario Bros. 2. And then you basically make this game, and you make Mario, you give him the ability to have the hat with the ears and be able to fly in the air. You get the frog suit, you get a cat suit, you get some other stuff too. And you're trying to save Princess Peach from the evil Bowser and his henchmen and Kammy Koopa. And so you make this game, and you make a very big world where there's 8 worlds, and there's multiple levels in the worlds. You go through the levels and collect coins, stomping on Koopa's heads, watching out for the those plants, those vicious man-eating plants that go like that. And some of them shoot fireballs. And you just make a great platformer game. This game's amazing. And everybody that owns the NES, you really should get this game, because this game is amazing. It's one of the best games you can get for your NES. Even if you don't get the original NES, because I know I have original NESs. I've been through 5 of them, and none of them work anymore. Just get the Retron 2 or the Retron 3 classic machine. You can still play it that way. It's a great game, and it's definitely one of the best games on the system for number 1. Number 2, you probably are thinking is Zelda. Personally, I don't have the first Zelda. I used to, but I personally wouldn't put it on my top 3. So number 2 is Final Fantasy. This is one of the most groundbreaking NES games ever made for a role-playing game, and it's definitely one of the best role-playing games you could play on the system. I highly recommend it if you guys like RPGs, JRPGs, or turn-based RPGs, that is. This is what started it all, and this is why Final Fantasy was such a success and is around to this day, because of how good this game actually is. So I recommend this game. Lots of exploring in the game, lots of leveling up. You can go into stores in the game and actually upgrade your weapons, get some potions when you're fighting in battle. And unlike Ultima, you don't have a constant annoyance where there's bad guys trying to fight you every 10 seconds of the game. You can actually get from point A to point B. That's why I like this game more than Ultima, for RPGs. It's a great game. I recommend it. Number 3 is Contra. 30 lives code. I mean, up, up, down, down, left, right, A, B, B, A, select, start. I believe that's how it goes. Gives you 30 lives because this game was impossible with only 3 lives to get through the levels and beat this game. But with 30 lives made it possible, and it made it more possible if you had a second player to play this game with you. It's a really good shooting game, side-scrolling shooter. This is what started the whole crave of shooting games, although it's not, well, it is probably the first one actually, besides Ikari Warriors. But yeah, without this game we wouldn't have first-person shooters or third-person shooters like Gears of War, Halo, James Bond games, you know, stuff like Wolfenstein. We wouldn't have that if it wasn't for Contra. So Contra started the shooting genre craze, and it's an excellent game, but it is hard as hell. But rewarding if you beat it. Number 4, this game gets some hate for some reason. I understand it's challenging, it's very hard. It may not be very fair, but that doesn't mean it's a bad game. Stop shitting on it. It's not a bad game. It's Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link. I remember this game as a kid, and I remember how much fun it was. Action RPG game, playing as Link, going through the levels, collecting stuff, and getting past the bad guys, fighting orbs and spiders and all these other bad guys, these ninja-looking dudes. And you go through a town area in the game, and in the town area you can go into a house. Link gets to have sex with a girl in the game, even though it doesn't really say that he did. It kind of implies that he did anyways. He's a dog, D-A-W-G for sure. But yeah, this game's great. I like it. It's a good action RPG with Link, you know. Despite it being very difficult, it's still a great game. I don't think I ever beat this game because it's that hard, but it is really fun. And it's worth being in the top 5, obviously. Number 5 is Dr. Mario, excellent puzzle game, where Dr. Mario's trying to basically heal the people. And there's like these little antibody characters, bugs that are trying to take over the system. So that's basically the gist of that. Oh, hey Miles, how are you, buddy? Hey, hold on, buddy. I'm filming right now. Sorry, buddy. Don't mean to be mean. But yeah, Dr. Mario is a good game. I recommend it. It plays very similar to Tetris, and Tetris is also a good puzzle game. And this was definitely one that I grew up playing. One of the only puzzle games that I had as a kid, and I loved it. Number 6, I did not grow up playing this game, but I will admit it is a very good game for the NES, especially if you have an NES. And that's Kirby's Adventure. One of the best platformer games on the NES, and it came out towards the end of the NES lifespan. I think it was released in 1992, the year that I was born, and it was just a great game. Kirby's a total badass. He's very likable. He's basically a vacuum cleaner. He sucks up everything. He sucks up the stars, sucks up the bad guys, and he spits them out at his end. He's like that, and then hits the other bad guys. You fight all these like bad guys towards the end of the levels, and the levels are drawn out because there's more than one level in each world, which makes it a longer game. And it's just an enjoyable game. I definitely recommend this game. There's also cheat codes in this game. I know that there's cheat codes, although I don't really remember it, but I know there's a cheat code where I can get to King Dedede and fight him and defeat him. I don't remember that cheat code though. I have to look it up. I have to cheat. I know that that's wrong, but I want to beat the game, and I don't remember that cheat code to get to King Dedede. But yeah, the game's great, and I highly recommend it. So that's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we're at number 7 now. Number 7 is Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse. It's a great game. I like this one the best out of the other two, Castlevania and Castlevania 2, because Castlevania 1 was very linear and the graphics weren't as good as this one. Castlevania 2 had a lot of problems because it didn't like tell you where to go. They gave you basic information from the townspeople. I don't know how they screwed that up, but if they had added more information in the game, it would have been easier to navigate. But because they didn't, that's why a lot of people hate that game. That's why the angry video gamer hates that game. It's not a bad game, but it's just very frustrating. So overall, I think the third game's the best. You play as Simon Belmont trying to defeat Dracula. You go through the levels, climbing on stuff, defeating Medusa heads, fighting off ghosts and Grim Reapers, and just kicking all sorts of ass with your whip. And this game has a lot of nostalgia for gamers who grew up in the 80s. That's a testament to how wonderful this game is. It's that damn good of a game. So I highly recommend it if you have an NES. Number 8 is Super Contra, also known as Contra 2. Very good game. The graphics look pretty good. They almost look like Super Nintendo graphics, honestly. The game's fun. This is typical run and gun game. Although I can't find the way to get the 30 lives code. I don't know if they took it out of this game or what the deal was, but I didn't get very far because it's that hard. But from what I played of it, it was pretty fun. Just as good as the first one. Number 9, we have Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt Combo Kart together. They also made these by themselves. And they made another kart that had 3 games. It had the World Class Track Meet game along in the system as well. Well, I recommend these 2 games because they're a blast. You got Super Mario Bros. The original, epic music right there that stands the test of time, like 35, 40 years later. You know, it's an awesome game. And then you get Duck Hunt, which was a shooter game where you had a gun and you shot ducks with your, that gun, the orange gun or the gray gun. Great game. Both of them are great for number 9. That's a standard one. It's dirt cheap. It's only like $10 or less. This next game is number 10. It is a great game, Metroid. The problem is that the controls are a bit slippery and the navigation is a bit tough. It's a bit hard to get around, But once you do get the hang of the slippery controls, because those controls kind of suck, and you know where to go, this game is a lot of fun. It's definitely a little rough around the edges compared to some of the other Metroid games, but I would be lying if I didn't say I had fun playing this game. I do enjoy it, and I know a lot of collectors would agree with me that this is one of the greatest games on the Super Nintendo, or the NES rather. Alright, the last 5 here. These are ones that I either consider underrated or they're not as talked about. Number 11 is Star Force. This is a great Tecmo shooting game, flying shoot 'em up game. I recommend it. The music in the game is memorable. The boss battles at the end were pretty fun. All in all, the graphics, they're not like amazing, but they're not bad either. The game is a great shoot 'em up game, and I highly recommend it. It's surprising that some of the other NES shoot 'em up games are so pathetic, but this one's really good, and I highly recommend it. Number 12, we have Solomon's Key. This is a great action platform game. You play as a wizard named Dana. Yeah, I know, I usually hate wizard stuff. I don't like it. But I grew up playing this game as a kid. You play as a wizard named Dana, and he basically has to break blocks Sometimes he uses the blocks though to block enemies from getting through on his path, getting in his way and killing them. So it's one of those type of games where like sometimes you have to break the blocks to get through, to get the key, to get to the door, and other times you need those blocks to appear to block the enemies from coming your way in a circle and knocking you off the screen and killing you. All in all, it's underrated, I feel, and it's a great game. It's a really good action platform game, and I highly recommend it. Number 13 is Ninja Gaiden. This game can't go any higher up my list. I know a lot of people will put this in their top 10, or maybe the sequel, Ninja Gaiden 2, but the game is just ridiculously hard, and I seriously cannot beat this game. I get pissed off playing it, so that's why it's only at number 13. But it is a great game. It is fun. Definitely takes a lot of patience to get through because it's a pain in the ass. It really is. But once you do get through the game, you're lucky if you beat it. And if you beat it, I salute you. Because it's that hard of a game. I got this game for $10.99, I guess. I think I got it for less than that because Pastime Legends was going out of business over there on Lark Street. But yeah, really good game. I highly recommend it. Number 14 is Batman the video game. Of course, I was going to put Batman up here. Really great game. Good movie license game. I know that 90% of licensed games are terrible, they're trash, they suck. But there's 10% of them that are actually pretty good, or maybe 15%. But yeah, it's pretty good. I like this game. It's a really good beat 'em up game. It is very hard though, and it definitely will take some patience climbing up the walls, going left, right, left, right. But Sunsoft did a good job, and I highly recommend this game if you're a fan of Batman video games. And when you get to the Joker, if you beat the Joker, I also salute you because I know this is a very hard game. And it's underrated too. And this last game is number 15, is Lode Runner. And I had a lot of fun playing Lode Runner as a kid, and I highly recommend Lode Runner. Lode Runner, in this game, you play as a girl. You go through the levels collecting the gold pieces. You got 2 or 3 people chasing after you through the levels. The object of the game is basically to get all the gold pieces and avoid the bad guys. If the bad guys touch you, you die. You can also use some of the platforms and like knock it off so that way they fall in that platform. So that way you can get by without getting hit and actually pick up the gold pieces throughout the level. You could even create your own levels in this game too, which was a nice touch. There weren't many games on the NES that did that, but that was a nice touch for sure. I like that game. It's fun. Alright, now we moved on to the honorable mentions. I have Gradius, or Gradius, however you pronounce it. Another good shoot 'em up game. Highly recommend that. RC Pro-Am. You got to get used to the controls, but once you do, this game becomes very fun. It's a really good racing game. There's really not that many racing games on the NES. Besides this and that Turbo Racing game, NRC Pro-Am 2, and Super Off-Road. Other than that, there really isn't much to choose from. But this is definitely the best racing game on the NES. Double Dragon 2. I also like Double Dragon 1. This is a really great beat-em-up game with Billy and Jimmy. And you can get this game for dirt cheap. I mean, I got this game for, it says $12. You might be able to find it between the $10 to $15 range. But I highly recommend this game if you like beat-em-up games. It's a really good game. Just stay away from Double Dragon 3 because that game... The first 2 were great though. Flying Dragon's a pretty fun game. Really good ninja game. Lots of, fighting of bad guys on the screens, platform game, side scroller. You fight the boss one way and then you fight him another way, and then I think a third way, and then you move on to the next level. The only problem with the game is the jumping. The up button is to jump, and it really shouldn't be that way. You know, they should have taken lessons from Super Mario Bros. The A button was to jump, or B button. That's the way it should have been. But all in all, it's still a great game. Highly underrated. Monopoly is a fun game on the NES. Graphics aren't as good as the first, or the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis version rather, but it's still a blast to play. If you know how to play Monopoly, you will have fun playing this game. I recommend it. Bionic Commando is a great game. I highly recommend Bionic Commando. It's a really fun game. It's a platform, side-scrolling game. You use a grappling hook to get by. You swing by left and right. You punch bad guys and beat bad guys up with your hook. And it's just a really fun game made by Capcom. I highly recommend it. Metal Mech Man vs. Machine is a great game. I highly recommend that. It's a fun mech game. Definitely underrated. Then we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I know you're thinking, this game sucks. I disagree. It's a good game. I just don't understand why a turtle can't swim. Like, that makes no sense. There's a few flaws in the game. Like, the one bad guy you fight, if you jump on the platform, you can literally go like this like 10 times and defeat that guy without even having to fight him on the ground. So that was definitely a flaw. There's a few flaws in the game, but overall it's not a bad game. It's not as bad as everybody says. It's not like Fester's Quest, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Kid Cool, or Dick Tracy that suck ass. Other good games on the NES, let's see, Dig Dug 2, that's a good game. Spy Hunter is a good game. Spy Hunter 2, RC Pro-Am 2, what else? Joust is a fun game. Gauntlet 2. I think that Adventure Island is fun. Astyanax is a fun game, or Astyanax, however you pronounce it. Ultimate Exodus is not a bad game, but there was a few problems with that game. Star Tropics, that's a fun game. Also, Star Tropics 2 is a great game. And Sky Shark. And also Ice Climber was a fun game, even though the controls are kind of bad. And Mickey's Mousecapade, Adventures in the Magic Kingdom. What else? Ninja Gaiden 2, Ninja Gaiden 3, Q*bert, Donkey Kong Classics, and Legacy of the Wizard. That's a good game. And also Spy vs. Spy, Rocket Ranger, RC Pro-Am 2, which I believe I said before. And then there was also Battletoads, that's a good game. And then Zen Intergalactic Ninja, sorry. And I think that's it. So those are my honorable mentions for the NES. I hope you guys enjoyed that, along with the top 15. Hope you guys enjoyed. So I'm going to get going, and I hope you guys enjoyed. God bless you. Thank you for watching, and take care. Larry the Batman Fan signed off. Peace.